Okay, so we're still in book 6.6b, and now this time if we're given a graph, then we have to find the equation of a line. So here, we're given this graph. This is a line. Let's make it into a line. It needs some arrows at the end. And I have to come up with the equation of the line. So the equation of a line that we use is y equals mx plus b. B is the y intercept, and m is the slope. Okay, and that means whatever number is next to the x, that's our slope, and whatever number does not have an x, that's the y-intercept. So the first step we're going to do is we're going to find the y-intercept. The second step is we're going to find the slope. The third step is we're going to put everything into the equation y equals mx plus b. Okay. The y-intercept is b. The slope is m. Okay, so what we're going to do when we find these two things, we're going to go y equals, we'll find what m is, and we'll put it here. We'll put the x. Well, maybe not plus, it could be a minus. And then we're going to put the b here, the y-intercept. Okay, so let's first, where does this line cross the y-axis? Well, we have to decide which one is the y-axis. Now y looks like this, so the one that's going up and down is the y-axis. So this one is the x-axis. Okay, because y goes up and down. So this line touches here at 4, the y-axis. So the y-intercept is 4. And it's a positive 4 because it's up high. If it was down here, it would be negative 4. So in my equation down here, I'm going to put plus 4 instead of my b, because that's the y-intercept. Now my slope, I have to find, okay, we have to go, what is the change from going up and down, and what is the change left and right between 2 points? But we need 2 points. So here's a nice point, here's a nice point, and here's a nice point. I'm going to choose this one and this one. Okay, it doesn't matter which two you choose, I'm just going to choose these. So I have to travel from this point to this point, or from this point to this point. Let's do it this way. I'm just going to draw the lines. Okay, so if I want to go from here to here, I have to go this way, 1, 2, 3. And because I'm going left, it's going to be a negative 3. So the negative 3, does that go up or down? Down, because the bottom one is always about x, left and right. So the bottom is negative 3. Now we have to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I have to go down 9. Down, is that negative or positive? Down is negative, so I'm going to put negative 9. Can we make that more simple? Let's check. I think so, because negative 9 over negative 3, they're both divisible by 3. So I go, yeah, I think we can. And a negative divided by a negative is going to be positive. So that's equal to 3. So my slope, I'm just going to write it here, is equal to 3. Now, should I make that a fraction? 3 over 1? Oops, that's not a 1. When we're graphing it or drawing it, yes, you should have a fraction. But when we're just writing the equation, we want it to be the most simple possible. So this is for the equation, and this is if we want to graph it. Okay, so we want to keep it as a 3. So my slope is 3. So slope is 3, so it's going to go like that. So this is my equation that represents this graph. Let's do the next one. Okay, so step 1, we need to find the y-intercept. Step 2, we need to find our slope. Step 3, we need to put it into the equation y equals mx plus b. So y-intercept, where is the y-axis? Y looks like this, up and down. So this is the y-axis. So that's the x-axis. Where does this line, let's make it a line because it needs arrows. Where does this line touch the y-axis? Here. And that looks like a 2. Let's check. 1, 2. Yeah, that's a 2. So what letter represents the y-intercept? B. So B equals 2. So when I write this equation again, I'm going to go y equals something x plus something. And here it's going to be a positive 2, so I'd put plus 2. But say it was down here with a negative 2. If it was negative 2, I'd put subtract 2. Okay, so it's not always going to be plus. So here, because it's a positive 2, I'm going to put plus 2 for my slope. For my y-intercept. Now my slope is m. And the slope is how much change between 2 points going up and down and going left and right. So we need 2 points. So we know we have this point. Here's a good point. Here's 2 points. But you could use this point too. It doesn't matter as long as they're perfectly in the intersection of some whole numbers. So let's go from this point to this point. So I'm going to go there, then there. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going 4 jumps that way. When I go left, that's negative. Then I have to go 1, 2. 2 down. When I go 2 down, that's going to be negative. So the 4, does that go up or down? Well, because I'm going left, left and right is x, left and right is the bottom here. So it's negative 4. Down, this is always up and down, that's negative 2. Can I make this more simple? I think so, because 2 and 4 are both divisible by 2. So let's check. And we know that dividing a negative by a negative, it's a positive. So I know it's going to be a positive answer. So negative 2 over negative 4, half. Okay, half. So that means my slope is half. M is a half. So here's M. I'm going to put half here. Okay, I can't see that very well. Let's put it nicer. And we can leave it as a half. We don't need to put it as a decimal. Okay? So here's my equation that represents this line. So my y-intercept was 2 and my slope was a half. Let's go to the next page. Let's go to question number 9. So it says determine the equation of the line. So we have a graph of a line. Let's make it into a line. It needs arrows. Okay, what's the first step? Find your y-intercept. Second step, what is it? Yeah, we have to find the slope. In step 3, we need to put it into the equation. Y equals mx plus b. B, is that y-intercept or slope? Yeah, it's y-intercept. And m is slope. So we have to go y equals something x plus the intercept. So let's look. Y-intercept. Which line here, which axis is the y-axis? Y looks like that. It's up and down. So this one is y, this one is x. So we have to say, where does this line touch the y-axis? Here's the y-axis. It touches at 2. 2. So that means b is 2. And because it's positive, we're going to go plus 2. If it was negative, we'd go subtract 2. Now we have to find the slope. And the slope is how much change between 2 points. Okay, the steepness of the line. So we need 2 points. Well, that's 1 point. That looks like another point here. Maybe that's a point. I'm not sure. So let's travel from this point to this point. So I'm going to jump 2 this way. And because I'm going left, it's negative. Then I'm going to jump 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down. 6 down, and down is negative. So because we're doing the up down is 6, up down, left and right, that's x, the change in x, that's 2, negative 2. We know that negative divided by negative, same, it's going to be positive. They both look like they can be divided by 2, so let's check. Negative 6 over negative 2. Yep, it's 3. So now I know my slope is 3. And because I'm just using the equation, I'm putting this into the equation, I want to keep it 3. Okay? If I wanted to graph it, then I'd go 3 over 1, because then I'd go, oh, it goes 3 up and 1 right. But I'm not graphing it, so I just leave it like this. And here is my equation that represents this line.